Okay, let's go over homework 2.6, number 8. Right. So first thing I would do is I'm going to rewrite this guy as x times quantity 36 minus x squared raised to the 1/2 power. Right. Then let's take the first derivative. Right. So use the product rule. We find f prime of x to be, right, so derivative of the first guy is going to be 1 multiplied by the second, which is quantity 36 minus x squared raised to the 1/2 power, right, plus first guy, which is x, times the derivative of the second guy, so 1/2 is in front, same quantity, so 36 minus x squared, and to subtract 1 from the power, so negative 1/2 power, then multiply by derivative inside, so which is negative 2x. Alright, so we can cancel out the 2's, 2 on the bottom, there's 2 on top. Alright, then try to simplify as much as possible before we take another derivative. So here, this is going to be simply square root of 36 minus x squared, right? Plus, or actually, there's a minus sign, so it's going to be minus. There's x squared on top, so here's x here, and here's another x, don't forget, x squared on top. Right, then divided by, since it's a negative power here, so it's going to be on the bottom, then you have a square root of 36 minus x squared. Alright, then take the common denominator to combine them, so you can see that this is going to be on the denominator is common denominator is square root of 36 minus x squared, right? Then we have to multiply square root of 36 minus x squared by itself, so we're going to have 36 minus x squared, and there's a negative sign here, so it's going to be minus, then x squared, so x squared, right? So you can see that this is going to be simplified to 36 minus 2x squared over square root of 36 minus x squared. Alright, since the top two guys have 2 as a factor, common factor, so I'm going to factor it out. So it's going to be 2 times quantity 18 minus x squared all over square root of 36 minus x squared. Alright, that's just the first derivative. So we're going to take another derivative. So we're going to look at the f double prime of x. So that's going to be, alright, so we're going to use the quotient rule. Alright, square the bottom, so you're going to get 36 minus x squared, right? Then 2 is just a common, this is just a constant multiple, so I'm going to just put 2 right in front, so we don't have to worry about it, right? So derivative of the top is negative 2x, and then multiply by bottom guy, so it's going to be a square root of 36 minus x squared, right? And minus, right, top guy, so it's quantity 18 minus x squared, right, times derivative of the bottom, right? Derivative of the bottom is going to be, so 1/2 power, so it's 1/2 is in front, right? Keep the same quantity, so that's going to be 36 minus x squared, and subtract 1 from the power, so it's going to be negative 1/2 power, right? Then multiply by derivative of inside, so it's negative 2x. All right, then try to simplify as much as possible. So you can see that here's 2 cancel out with the 2 on top, right? Then here's a negative sign right here, so negative sign and a negative sign, so it's going to be positive sign right there. All right, then let's see, and there's a square root of 36 minus x squared, and there's a reciprocal of that. So what I'm going to do is try to multiply a numerator and a denominator by 36 minus x squared to the 1/2 power, right? So you have 36 minus x squared to the 1/2 power, right? So what you get is going to be, all right, so 2 is still in front, all right, then you're going to have, all right, so quantity 36 minus x squared, and you have a 1/2 power there, so it's going to be combined, so it's going to be 3/2 power. All right, then you're going to have, let's see, negative 2x right here, and this is going to be square root of 36 minus x squared times itself, so it's going to be quantity 36 minus x squared, right, plus, right, so that basically the square root is canceled with this guy, but this guy also cancel with its reciprocal there, right? So what we have is, let's say there's still x left over here, so don't forget to write x. All right, then you have this guy, quantity 18 minus x squared, so quantity 18 minus x squared. All right, then you can see that, let's see, there take a common factor, so it's going to be 2 is of course already have, and you can see that both of them has x in it, so here, so we can pull out 2x, right, but everything else is going to be left over, so negative 2 times 36 is negative 72. And the negative 2 times negative x squared is positive 2x squared. And the plus 18 minus x squared. And all over quantity 36 minus x squared to the 3/2 power. Right? And then we can just simplify one last time. So this is going to be equal to, all right, 2x. Then you have 2x squared minus x squared. So it's going to be just x squared. And then you have negative 72 plus 18. So that's going to be minus 54. All over quantity 36 minus x squared, raise it to the 3/2 power. All right, so this is the second derivative we're looking for. All right, Then what we want to do is we want to set that equal to 0, then find x. So set it equal to 0. That will give us, I'm going to go up here so we have more room. So it's going to go 2, right? So it's going to be same thing as 2x. We can just set the numerator equal to 0. X squared minus 54 is equal to 0. Which will give us actually 3x values. X equals from here 0. Then from here plus or minus square root of 54. Right? Right, but we have to be careful because this function is defined only between, let's see, so make sure that here 36 minus x squared is non-negative, which means that x has to be actually between negative 6 and positive 6, right? So you can see that the positive or negative plus or minus square root of 54, this is actually outside of the domain, right? So therefore, answer for that is just 0, right? And this is the answer for the second derivative right there. All right? All right, that's it. I hope that this was clear.